Why is my dog digging in the garden? If you have a garden where you enjoy spending time with your dog, you may know that digging in the dirt is one of these animals' favorite activities. This article gives you the keys to understanding why your pet digs in the garden and tells you how you can break this bad habit. 5 reasons why a dog digs in the garden. Whether it's a flower bed or the lawn, most gardening enthusiasts would like to avoid holes as much as possible. And yet, many dogs like to plow the ground with their paws. But why do dogs enjoy digging in the garden so much? We have made an inventory of the different reasons behind this passion. Your dog hunts mice. Many dogs have a hunting instinct running through their veins, and many of their prey live underground. It's true that your pet is unlikely to find badger burrows or fox dens in your yard, but it may find a mouse nest or two there. Molehills also encourage your companion to search the ground. Your dog starts by burying his nose in the dirt to sniff out the tantalizing smells. But then he would like to approach it, and to clear the way for his muzzle, only one solution is available to him: you have to dig. Dog breeds like the burrow and the dachshunds especially like to dig holes. Gardening. Teamwork. When you plant flowers, your faithful companion would of course want to lend a hand, which in concrete terms means digging with you with all his might. You may see your dog parading with his chest swollen with pride through the garden, holding in his mouth a delicate plant that he has just dug up. Gardening is a hobby that has plenty to interest dogs too, and when you dig in the ground, you encourage your pet to do the same. The freshly turned earth especially makes you want to dig, and it's a real pleasure to work as a team, at least for your dog. A bed in the floor. Creating a hollow in the ground is one of the primary instincts of many animals. In winter, this recess protects against cold and snow. In summer, it provides a beneficial coolness. Some female dogs in heat or during the gestation period also tend to want to dig a nest. Each time, it is for the dog to have a natural bed marked with its seal and to be able to dig there at will. Your companion is preparing a bed in the garden for the summer? A hiding place for treats. A dog that digs in the garden also likes to build up a small reserve of provisions. This need is often limited to a few chewing bones. Some dogs bury the bones after chewing on them for a while. Others hide a treat immediately after receiving it and dig it up almost immediately to enjoy it. Still others hide snacks they don't particularly like in the garden. Oftentimes, the once overlooked treat regains your pet's interest once it's soaked up the natural aroma of the garden. A few weeks after burying it, they dig it up again to really savor it. Your dog is bored. Often an unwanted behavior draws attention to another problem, such as boredom. Opening the door to the garden thinking that it is enough to let your companion out to occupy it is not a good idea, and dogs who have not exerted themselves enough are looking for a new activity on their own. In this case, your pet will particularly appreciate the fact of digging in the garden. He will take pleasure in it and will then often get what he hopes for: attention. It does not matter if the interest shown to him takes the form of reprimands. And digging out of boredom will of course not prevent your dog from chasing mice or hiding bones at the same time. How to break your dog's bad habit of digging in the yard. First, check that your dog has everything he needs: a comfortable basket or doghouse, and enough opportunities to exercise. A valuable precaution for amateur gardeners in particular. Exercise with your dog before you start gardening, so that your invested assistant has spent enough time beforehand. Then, once you start gardening, you have 2 options. The first is to strictly forbid your companion to help you and to let him lie down near you or put him on a leash. The second option is to integrate your dog at work by giving him missions. For example, you can reserve a place for your animal to dig that belongs only to him, see below. Tips to prevent your dog from digging in the garden. A corner specially dedicated to your pet. If your dog likes to dig in the garden, dedicating a corner for it is a good escape for all concerned owners. Plan a large enough perimeter in your garden for your animal, and as soon as your dog starts to dig, systematically lead him to his dedicated location. You can make this perimeter more attractive by, for example, starting to dig a hole yourself or by hiding a treat or food for your companion. Although it is not guaranteed that your pet will accept this place dedicated to him, the chances of success are rather high in young dogs. Formal ban on digging. As soon as your dog pretends to dig in the yard, give him the stop signal he's been used to, like, no, or, stop, and prevent him from digging. To guarantee long-term success, however, it must subsequently be prohibited from digging everywhere. If he begins to search the earth on a walk, generally to catch mice, this may in fact stimulate his desire to hunt underground. An important thing to consider: if you choose this option, you will need to be very patient and consistent in training your dog. Each success obtained by your pet, whether on a walk or at home, will indeed awaken its natural propensity to dig. As often in the education of the dog, the valid rule to avoid that it does not dig in the garden is the following one: dogs which spent themselves learn more quickly and in a more durable way. Protect a flower bed. If you want to enjoy your garden but have a companion whose passion is digging, you can protect your beds with a fence. For some amateur gardeners, it may be simpler and less energy intensive to install a fence rather than maintain the prohibitions. Raised beds are also a good alternative, since they are out of your companion's reach. In this way, you can rest carefree on a deck chair in the garden with your dog, without fear of seeing your vegetable garden devastated when you wake up from your nap.